I've recently heard a most scandalous rumor that there are some people who don't spend as much time as possible reading fine horror novels. I will never understand some people. Wonderful news, everyone! The April of 2024 Nightworms package has just arrived. Nightworms, of course, being the horror book subscription service that every month delivers one of these wonderful little black padded envelopes containing 2 horror novels and an assortment of some other goodies. I like to open them up directly to camera here on this channel so that I will figure out what's inside at the same moment y'all do, and hopefully we will discover some interesting literature. As always, of course, if you're interested in either of these books, I will have links down in the What's It where you can purchase them. That's also where you can find out about all of my various projects. While you're at it, of course, do be sure to like, share, subscribe. Sharing is probably the most important. If you like what I do, tell a friend to help me grow my audience. But while I open this up, I suppose it's just worthy of commentary that, of course, this is April of 2024. In fact, as I record this, it's the night before the big solar eclipse. Presumably by the time you actually see this video, the eclipse will have passed and we will have discovered that, in fact, the world did not end. If it does, I will be eating my words and you will never be hearing this message. But of course, on the assumption the world is not about to end, which I think is a safe assumption, I'm excited to dig in and see what these books are. I see that there are 2. It appears a hardcover and a paperback. I will begin, as I tend to when I make these videos, with the hardcover, which is a very pink book. It's called Thirst. The author's name is Marina Yuszczyk. It's Yuszczyzuk. And there's no way in hell I'm going to not butcher that name, so my apologies in advance. But the novel is entitled Thirst. I'm guessing, based on the cover art, it is some sort of an erotic horror novel, but it's not a book or an author I'm familiar with, so let's just read the description and see what we're actually in for. The flap here says, "It is the twilight of Europe's bloody bacchanals of murder and feasting without end. In the 19th century, a vampire arrives from Europe to the coast of Buenos Aires and watches as a village transforms into a cosmopolitan city." This is, generally speaking, a mistake, I think. Keep your towns as small as possible, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, carrying on, it says, "She must adapt, intermingle with humans, and be discreet," as a vampire ought, of course. In present-day Buenos Aires, a woman finds herself at an impasse as she grapples with her mother's terminal illness and her own relationship to motherhood. When she first encounters the vampire in a cemetery, something ignites inside the 2 women, and they cross a threshold from which there's no turning back. With echoes of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Thirst plays with the boundaries of the Gothic genre while exploring female agency, all-consuming desire, and the fragile vitality of even the most immortal of creatures. I will say that sounds fairly interesting. I will admit, based on the cover art and the description, and not knowing anything about the author, this is probably not one that would have caught my eye if I was browsing in the bookstore. But, as I have said about these kinds of mystery packages before, one of the wonderful things is we frequently get something that wouldn't necessarily have caught our eye, but may very well turn out to be a wonderful read. Hopefully this will be one of those, so I will be looking forward to reading this one presumably in the next month or 2 after I finish up some other things that I've been reading as fast as I possibly can. I have a large and growing reading list, it would seem, but that is a worthy addition to said reading list. Next is the paperback, which is entitled A Botanical Daughter. The author is Noah Medlock. This is, again, an author and, of course, a book with which I'm unfamiliar. There are a lot of blurbs from authors I have read on the back, so there's some good praise for it. In fact, there's praise for both of them. The description of this one says, "It is an unusual thing to live in a botanical garden, but Simon and Gregor are an unusual pair of gentlemen. Hidden away from the disapproving tattle of Victorian London, they are free to follow their own interests without interference. For Simon, this means working his taxidermical art. Gregor's business is exotic plants, lucrative but harmless enough. Until his latest acquisition, a strange fungus which shows signs of intellect beyond any plant he's seen, inspires him to attempt a masterwork, true intelligent life from plant matter. Driven by the glory he'll earn from the Royal Horticultural Society for such an achievement, Gregor ignores the flaws in his plan, that intelligence cannot be controlled, that plants cannot be reasoned with, and that the only way his plant beast will flourish is if he uses a recently deceased corpse for the substrate." So that sounds intriguing as well. I have many thoughts on this subject of plant intelligence. There have been those studies I think most of us have read about in the newspapers that allege not necessarily intelligence, but some sort of consciousness or sentience or something of plants. We read, for example, that playing different kinds of music affects plant growth, and we've heard all of these kinds of things. Color me skeptical, but it's an interesting idea nonetheless, and transforming that idea, as skeptical of it as I am, into the premise of a horror novel makes a lot of sense. So this may be something of a Little Shop of Horrors-esque kind of a story, but it sounds like in this case leaning more to the straight horror side rather than the horror comedy / musical, depending on which Little Shop we're talking about. So I am intrigued, and I will be looking forward to reading this one as well. But of course, as always, we're not quite done. I'm going to quickly go through these extra little goodies that are included in these packages. There's always a beverage, and that's what this large, thick thing is. In fact, I can smell it already. It is a wonderful smelling coffee. This is called It's Alive, our signature dark roast from Haunted Cups Coffee. There's always either a coffee or a tea or maybe a cocoa or something. I don't recall if I've seen one from Haunted Cups in these packages before, but I have been pleased with most of the selections that come in these packages. I like the smell of this one that I can smell through the little vent hole already. I do love a good cup of coffee, and of course, a wonderful cup of coffee is a marvelous thing to enjoy while reading a nice horror novel, particularly of the Gothic variety, which both of these claim to be, or at least neo-Gothic. So I think we're in for some wonderful evenings of literature and caffeinated beverage. But of course, there's also this little paper pouch. I'll break the seal on that one. This always has flat objects, some paper things, bookmarks and the sort. In fact, the first thing is a bookmark. This one says, Nightworms, April 2024. Echoes of Frankenstein is the name of this month's theme, as I have now discovered. And we have a Frankensteinian sort of hand with some blood drips on the back side. So nice artwork on the bookmark. The next item is the little flyer that describes all of the items in the package. We don't need to spend much time on that. Next is a book plate, an autographed book plate. This one, clearly specified, is by Noah Medlock for A Botanical Daughter. That one will get tucked in there. It will be affixed to the book later, so that has become an autographed copy, which, as a collector, I always like. The next item to come out is another book plate. This one will go with Thirst, so I will tuck that one in the cover there. So we now have both autographed copies. That's usually not the case, but every once in a while they give us that extra little treat. Always, or at least almost always, there's at least one autographed book plate in these packages, which is part of the reason that I enjoy subscribing to Nightworms, because I like to collect autographed books and they deliver them for me. But we still have a couple more items. This one is a sticker. We see, it also says Echoes of Frankenstein along the bottom, and we have medical instruments of the antique variety, it looks like. We also have what looks like a centipede or a millipede or some sort of an insect in a test tube and some other critters. So, Frankensteinian themed medical artwork, I think we could say. The next item is what feels like a fridge magnet. It is, in fact. And this one says, we have a picture of a Frankenstein's monster, and he is saying, "Ew, what kind of monster doesn't read?" The truly monstrous kind. The sort of person, well, as I said at the very beginning, the sort of person I don't understand in the slightest. So I will proudly display this on, not on my fridge, because I don't put magnets on my fridge, but on a filing cabinet, presumably the one belonging to my publishing house, Polymath Press, because, well, as a publisher, I find people who don't read monstrous in the extreme for so many reasons. So that's a lovely little treasure. I think that's the last item. Perhaps a little cricket egg in there, but that is in fact the last item. And that brings this Nightworms package for April 2024 and this video approximately to a close. All that's left is for me to remind you to check out these books. I have links down in the What's It, as I said. Do all the likey, sharey, subscribey, YouTubey kinds of things to help me grow this audience. And most importantly of all, take care and stay scared.